Hello everybody. We are going to see partnership final accounts. Friends, in partnership final accounts of SY BCom, that is second year BCom, we have to prepare as usual like 12 standard trading account, profit and loss account, profit and loss appropriation account, balance sheet, give effects of certain adjustments. Apart from that, certain extra adjustments, we can say unusual adjustments, are there for you. Friends, for such adjustments, we have to take special care. Let us see which are these unusual or special adjustments in partnership final accounts we have to carry out. Now, there are three different situations which may happen in the life of partnership firm. Sometimes there is admission of partner, sometimes there is retirement of partner, and sometimes unfortunately there is death of a partner, and we have to give accounting treatment in such situations. Now, what is mean by admission of a partner? When throughout the year, either on the first day, during the year, or on the last day of the accounting year, when some new partners enter into the partnership firm, that is known as admission of a partner. On the other hand, throughout the year, on very first date of the year, or maybe on the last date of the accounting year, one of the partner working in the partnership retires from the partnership, leave the partnership, that is known as retirement of a partner. Another thing happens, unfortunately, one of the partner from the firm dies. It may be on the first day of the accounting year, last day of the accounting year, or maybe during any of the date of the accounting year. At that time, that partner has to forcefully leave the firm because he is died. Such situation is known as death of a partner. Now, in this particular lecture, we are going to see what accounting treatment we have to give in case of admission of a partner, retirement of a partner, death of a partner while preparing partnership final accounts. Now, let us see first situation on admission of a partner. Now, on admission of a partner or a new partner on the first day or last day of the accounting year, or any of the date during the accounting year, certain things we have to carry out. On admission of partner, necessary adjustments are required to be made regarding goodwill or accumulated profits or capital contributions, etc. If a new partner is admitted on first day of accounting year, he will get his share of the profit earned during the entire year, like old partners which are presently working in the partnership firm while that partner entered. If a partner is admitted on last date of the accounting period, say 31st March, then he will not get any profit of that year. But if that partner enter on any date during the accounting year, then that partner can get share in profit earned after the date of admission to the year end. That effects we have to give. Let us say our accounting year is from 1st April to 31st March, and one partner enters in our organization on 1st July. What will happen? Our accounting year is of 12 months from 1st April to 31st March. And this Mr. X has entered in the partnership firm on 1st July. What will happen? First 3 months from April to June, we are having our old partners. This new partner entered on 1st July. So from July to March, 9 months he worked in the partnership. So whatever profit partnership firm earned in 9 months from July to March, whatever share of this new partner is there, that partner will get. So this happens in case of admission of a partner during the accounting year. If he enters on 1st April, like old partners is there for whole year, so he will get whatever is share for the whole year. Now, if he enters on 31st March, that is last day, he has not worked at all during the year, so he will not get any share of profit. Now let us see, when partner enters during the accounting year, which things we have to carry out. 4 important things we have to do. First is we have to prepare columnar profit and loss account. Why columnar profit and loss account? From 1st April to 31st March, 12 months are there, our accounting period is there. But this man has entered on 1st July. Then we have to make columns in profit and loss account. From April to June, 3 months, separate column. From July to March, 9 months, separate column. Why? Because 3 months profit or loss, whatever we will receive, that we have to determine separately, and 9 months profit or loss we have to determine separately. Why? Because 3 months profit before entering new partner's profit is shared by only old partners. But when that new partner entered, whatever profit loss is there, that is shared by all partners including this new partner. So we have to prepare columnar profit and loss account. One column for period before the entry of new partner and one for the period after the entry of new partner. Then we have to calculate time ratio. Why? If in between the year this partner entered, now in our case on 1st July, then what we have to see? We have to see how much months before his entry accounting period is there. That is from April to June, 3 months. From the entry of new partner, from July to December to March, it is 9 months. So 3 is to 9. Pre-entry period is 3 months. Post-entry period is 9 months. 3 is to 9. So 3 ones are 3. 3 threes are 9. So 1 is to 3 is our time ratio. And this time ratio is used for recording our expenses, distributing our expenses in before entry and after entry period. Now if expenses or incomes are not given separately for pre-entry and post-entry period, then net profit of the entire period we have to calculate, and for that purpose certain items we have to distribute in time ratio. Now if we don't know how to distribute those items in time ratio, then we may sometimes distribute net profit in this. Certain items we can distribute in time ratio. Let us see which are they. They include salaries or interest or depreciation, audit fees, insurance. These items are distributed in time ratio. Or if we see from credit side of profit and loss account, then we can say interest received, discount earned, or rent received. Such items we can distribute in time ratio. Let us go towards sales ratio. Now certain items are usually related with sales. Such items we have to distribute in sales ratio. Now we have to see in our case on 1st July that partner was admitted. So we have to see first 3 months sales and last 9 months sales. Now say total sales are 12 lakh. What will happen? From April to June and from July to March, 3 months, 9 months. So 12 lakh can be divided into properly as 3 lakh and 9 lakh. So our sales ratio will come as 3:9. 3 ones are 3, 3 threes are 9. So 1:3 we can say. And we may divide certain items on basis of that if nothing information about sales is given. Sometimes it may be given that our sales were usual for first 3 months, thereafter they doubled, like that adjustment is there, then differently we have to calculate that sales ratio. But if it is in normal situation, sales ratio we can calculate usually as 1:3. Now what is our time ratio? It is 1:3 and sales ratio is also 1:3, only because the sales are usual throughout the year. But if they are unusual, like as I said, sales were double for the months after admission of a partner and half before admission of partner, like that if is given, then that time what we have to do is, that time we have to calculate proper sales ratio. Now certain items we have to distribute in sales ratio. They include items like advertisement, selling expenses, discount allowed, or salesman's traveling expense. Certain credit items are also there, like commission received, bad debts is very important item which we can distribute in sales ratio. There are certain items which are neither recorded in sales ratio nor in time ratio. They are, say, loss by fire, loss on sale of fixed asset, or profit on sale of fixed asset, bad debt recovered. Such items we have to see period, in which period they received, whether before entry period or after entry period, like that they have to record. And thereafter whatever profit or loss we will receive from profit and loss or profit and loss appropriation account, that we have to divide among old partners whole year's profit, and among new partners only the period for which he was there in the partnership firm. So if we are made 2 columns, then definitely pre-admission period's profit will be shared by old partner in their respective profit sharing ratio, old ratio, and post-admission period profits will be shared by all partners in new profit sharing ratio. This happens in case of admission of a partner. Now sometimes what happens, there is retirement of a partner, means one of the partner from the firm retires. Now retirement of partner on first day or last day or any date during the accounting year may happen, like admission of a partner. Now partner retires means he leaves the partnership firm. That time that partner will get normal share of his profit earned during the year till the date of his retirement from beginning of the accounting year. Now he will get share in past accumulated profits as per the books of accounts also till the date of retirement. That partner will get his share of profit up to the date of retirement in the current year's profit. Now let us say our accounting year is from 1st April to 31st March, and our partner Mr. Y, who is going to retire on say 30th June. Then what happens? We have to prepare pre-retirement and post-retirement like that columnar form profit and loss account. Pre-retirement period is of 3 months from 1st April to 30th June. Post-retirement period is for 9 months from 1st July to 31st March. Now what we have to calculate? We have to show the items of income, expenses, and we have to ascertain the profit for pre-retirement period and post-retirement period separately. For that purpose, we have to calculate time ratio as we have calculated in case of admission. We have to calculate sales ratio as we have to calculated in case of admission. We have to divide items, some items in case of in time ratio, some in sales ratio, and some individual items as they appear in whether pre-retirement period or post-retirement period as we have seen in admission. Now let us see. Mr. Y retired on 1st July or 30th June. Then 3 months is pre-retirement period, 9 months is post-retirement period. So 3 is to 9, 3 ones are 3, 3 threes are 9. So 1 is to 3, that is our time ratio. If sales are usual or normal throughout the year, say it is 12 lakh, then 3 lakh, 9 lakh, 3 is to 12, that is 1 is to 4, is 1 is to 3 is our sales ratio. So friends, if sales were double in pre-retirement as compared to post-retirement, what will happen? 2, 2, 2. So 3 into 2, 6 we have to take for pre, and 9 as usual we have to take for post. So 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 2 is to 3 will come as sales ratio. If there are some adjustment for sales like double, triple, half, like that is given. So friends, same like admission, we have to prepare profit and loss account in columnar form when during the year on any date there is retirement of a partner. What we have to do at the end? At the end we have to do one thing. We have to see what is profit. Profit for pre-retirement period is shared by all partners including retiring partner in their profit sharing ratio, and post-retirement profit should be shared by continuing partners. Retiring partner has no right to share that profit, and that will be in new ratio by new partners, and this pre-retirement period profit should be shared in old profit sharing ratio, and retiring partner definitely gets share in that. Now let us go towards third part, that is what we have to do in case of death of a partner. Like admission, like retirement, there is death of a partner. Now when partner dies, it may be on the first day of accounting year, last day of accounting year, or any other date during the accounting year. It is not in the hand of the partnership firm. But when that partner dies on first or last day of accounting year, what we have to do is we have to prepare our accounts as usual. If that person dies on first day of accounting year, then we don't have to give any share of profit for the present accounting period. If on last date of accounting year, like continuing partner, deceased partner also gets whole year's profit share. But if that person dies on any date during the accounting year, then like admission, like retirement, we have to prepare columnar profit and loss account, and in that column or profit and loss account we have to prepare two columns, namely pre-death and post-death. Now let us say, like in admission and retirement we have taken example, here is also on 1st July that partner dies, then from March to 30th June, 3 months pre-death period is there, 9 months from 1st July to 31st March is post-death period. What will happen? 3:9, that is 1:3 is our profit sharing ratio. If sales are usual, then our sales ratio will be definitely 3:9, that is 1:3. But if sometimes it happened that sales were double in pre-death period as compared to post-death period, what will happen? 2 to 2, so 3 to the 6 we will take for pre-death period, and usual 9 months 9 we will take for post-death period. 6:9, that is 3 to the 6, 3 3 is 9, 2:3 will come our sales ratio. Those items which in case of admission or retirement we divided in time ratio, same in time ratio we have to divide. Which we divided in sales ratio, same in sales ratio we have to divide. Certain individual items, they will appear whether they happened in pre-death period or post-death period. In that usual period they will come as individual items separately. From that we will get profit for pre-death period and profit for post-death period. Whatever is pre-death period profit, that will be shared by all partners, including that deceased partners, in their profit sharing ratio. Now, after death period or post-death period, profit will be shared by continuing partner. Deceased partner will not get share in it, and whatever is the new ratio of those remaining or continuing partners, they will share post-death period profit in that ratio. Let us see certain extra adjustments or certain adjustments which we have to make in case of death of a partner. Now, on death of a partner, calculation of amount due to deceased partner we have to prepare, and for that purpose we have to prepare capital account of deceased partner. Now, whatever amount we have to give to the deceased partner, how we calculate, let us see what is the procedure for it. Now, when we see this procedure for giving amount to deceased partner, certain things we have to carry out. First is capital of the deceased partner. Capital of deceased partner is taken from last period's balance sheet of the firm. Second is interest on capital. Now, if partnership did provide interest on capital from the date of balance sheet to the date of death should be calculated, and interest on capital should be credited to the capital account of that deceased partner. When we say about salary to partner, if it is mentioned in partnership deed, salary for the period beginning from the last balance sheet till the date of death should be calculated and credited to that deceased partner's capital account. Then profit on revaluation of asset and liabilities. If the asset and liabilities of firm are revalued on date of death of the partner, the share of deceased partner in the profit or loss on revaluation should be credited or debited to the capital account of that deceased partner. Then if there is reserve fund or accumulated profit in balance sheet of the firm, share of that deceased partner in such revenue fund or reserve fund, or you can say accumulated profit, that should be credited to his capital account. Then another is share of accrued profit of the firm. The deceased partner is entitled to his share of accrued profits. The accrued profit can be ascertained either by preparing profit and loss account from the date of balance sheet to the date of death, or on basis of average profit of immediately preceding year of death. Deceased partner's share of accrued profit should be taken into account by debiting profit and loss suspense account and crediting deceased partner's capital account. Then share of goodwill. Share of deceased partner in goodwill is to be ascertained according to provisions of partnership deed. Goodwill should be valued according to the terms agreed upon, and share of deceased partner in goodwill is determined. It should be taken into account by debiting goodwill account and crediting deceased partner's capital account. Then we have to give effect for drawings of the deceased partner. Drawings of the partner deceased from the date of balance sheet to the date of death should be transferred by debiting capital account and crediting drawing account. Then interest on drawing. If partnership did provide interest on drawing, then there should be calculation of that from last balance sheet date till the date of death and should be taken into account by debiting capital account and crediting interest on drawings account. Then loss on revaluation of asset and liability should be taken into account by debiting capital account and crediting revaluation account. Then share of undistributed loss to the extent of share of deceased partner should be taken into consideration by debiting deceased partner's capital account and crediting profit and loss account. Amount received in respect of insurance policy taken by firm should be credited to capital accounts in profit sharing ratio. After making all above adjustment, whatever is the share of deceased partner that should be transferred to legal heir or legal representative account of that deceased partner. Now, in this way, we have to carry out certain unusual adjustments. You can say certain different adjustment in case of admission, retirement, or death of a partner. In case of partnership final accounts, we are going to stop here. Thank you.